What's up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and today, my friends, I'm going to be going over the vendor reset for Cassie Mendoza. Now, as most of you know, every Tuesday, all of the vendors in the game reset. However, for Cassie, it's every Wednesday, therefore, I wanted to take a minute and show you what she has for sale. Now, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor, hit that like button as well, and remember, we are currently having a giveaway for an Xbox Series X. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced on July 4th of this year. So the first thing I'd like to go over is how do you find the location of Cassie Mendoza. In order to do that, you need to talk to the snitch on a weekly basis. So what I do is every Tuesday when the regular vendors reset, I find the snitch on the map and talk to him, and then he gives me Cassie's location for that week. Now you can see here, I'm in the Federal Triangle right by the 1040 safe house. Now there are multiple places on the map in order to find the snitch. However, for me, this is the most consistent, so I recommend trying this one. Now, if you happen to get to this location and he's not there, I recommend resetting your control points and trying again. You also want to make sure there's not a world activity going on in that area. So if you see, let's say there's a territory control or something like that, you want to avoid it, because if it's there, he will not be at that location as well. Once you've talked with him, he will then tell you exactly where Cassie's going to be and when the vendor's going to be open, and it's going to be the same location regardless of where you speak to the snitch on the map. So all of you today will be going to this spot you can see here. Now this one's a little bit hidden, but again, this is definitely worth your time. And one thing I want to make sure I mention as we roll up to Cassie is that for new and returning players, taking the time and doing things like this can really help you get items and weapons and gear that you may be looking for. And not only that, it can truly help your recalibration library. For a lot of you, you just got back into the game, and that is one thing you need to work on. You want to make sure that your recalibration library is stocked and all that good stuff. So anyway, with all that being said, let's get into the actual vendor reset. And as you can see, we begin here with the Darkness Marksman rifle, and I think this is actually on sale as well at the Countdown vendor. So now you do have an option. I know some people may not be playing Countdown as yet. First of all, I highly recommend it. You get a ton of loot, but if you do not have the Countdown resources to buy this weapon, you can actually get it here. Now below that, we have the Contractors Gloves, and I made a mistake in yesterday's video. I did not talk about the fact that these gloves are actually on sale at the Countdown vendor as well. But what makes these so incredibly rare is the fact that they have skill damage as one of the attributes. The damage to armor is always going to be maxed on Contractors Gloves, but usually the secondary attribute is either crit hit chance, crit hit damage, headshot damage, something like that. But with this pair you're looking at now, you have the option of re-rolling your core attribute to a skill tier, which is going to be highly effective in any skill build that you put together. It will also give you the ability to have a few different variations, so I strongly recommend you pick this thing up. Now below that, we have the Shield Splinterer Assault Rifle. Now for some of you out there, you may not see this on your actual vendor reset because you haven't completed the Year 1 Hunters. And it's also important to mention that you also receive a reward for killing all of the Year 2 Hunters, which is the Hunter Killer Vest, which would be listed here if you've done both of those activities. So if you haven't, I strongly recommend, once again, that you do so. Continuing on with the gear, we had an Aces and Eights backpack. We have an ongoing directive vest. These hardwired gloves are pretty good. Again, if you're going to keep a skill tier, you can re-roll that second attribute to anything you like. We have some Eclipse Protocol knee pads. Underneath that, an Eclipse Protocol holster. Again, it's up to you how you roll that second attribute. Moving on, we have a True Patriot mask, a really nice one. Your core attribute armor is maxed. That way it gives you the ability to choose anything you want for the secondary. So if you do not have a good True Patriot mask, I recommend grabbing this thing. Now moving on to the weapons, we're starting with a pretty decent SMG right there. You're going to max out the core attribute, just max the SMG damage. We have a shotgun under that, kind of mediocre there. Next we have a Sokolov backpack, pretty, decent roll here. And again, it all depends on where you are in the game and what gear you currently have. Below that, we have a very nice Bellstone Mask. I would definitely pick this up. It is great for any sort of defensive build. You've got hazard protection, explosive resistance, and obviously you're going to max out your armor for the core attribute. Last but not least, we have our gear system mods. We have pulse resistance 8.7%. Now that definitely will come in handy if you are playing Countdown and you're doing a build so you can stay, a alive a little longer with those hunters. That could help. And then we also have a shield mod as well. Now, going back to the Contractors Gloves, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, these are also on sale at the Countdown vendor. However, some of you may not play Countdown, or you do not have enough resources as yet to make the purchase. And again, making sure you check these vendors on a weekly basis allows you to have different options, and hopefully what you're looking for can sometimes be at multiple vendors. One thing I strongly recommend doing is go to all of the vendors before you make a purchase. And the reason I say that is sometimes in the game, vendors will have the same items at multiple locations, and some are better than others. So again, don't waste your money, make sure you get the right one the first time. Now, getting back to the Countdown vendor, you can see here again, the Darkness and the Contractors Gloves are both here and at Cassie Mendoza. These gloves, I think, actually have a little bit less skill damage, so once again, you have the option of buying them there. Now, I know for a lot of us out there, and keep in mind as I say this, this is for players who have been playing nonstop. I think that we really haven't been impressed with the vendor resets in a long time. Maybe once every 4 or 5 resets, there's something decent, but overall, there really hasn't been. And my hope is now moving forward that with this new Countdown vendor and with all of the new items and gear that are in the game, both this vendor, Cassie and others as well, will have stronger items. So I'm really looking forward to bringing these videos to you on a weekly basis. With all that being said, my friends, I'm going to start to wrap this video up. As always, I want to thank you all for your incredible support of this channel and remind you, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know in the section down below and I will get back to you as quick as I can. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this thing, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. We would love for you to be a part of our gaming family. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well. But most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.
Rikers have taken the power plant. Not sure what they're trying to do with a nuclear reactor, but they've triggered the safety protocols. The plant is going into lockdown. We need to remove the virus from the control servers and restore comms.
Reactor unstable. Emergency lockdown protocols activated. 15 minutes to lockdown. Communication relay offline.
Trojan virus detected. Safety protocols activated.